this. Hey, this is free swag from Heineken. I'll rock it any day.
Hashtag Anthem of Us. What's up, everybody? He's back. He's back.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You just got off a plane.
I literally just got off a plane.
From Montreal.
From Montreal. You've been everywhere. You've been in
Rose City.
Rose City.
I got my green on today.
You sure do.
Yeah.
You sure do. It's good to have you back in that.
Thank you. Yeah, I was at the New York Derby this weekend.
We got a lot of rivalry week talk to get to.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I got my Heineken shirt on.
I
feeling
see
fresh.
it. It's hard to miss.
David Villa was wearing one of these too.
He was. I know.
Yeah.
So.
It's a trend.
It's a thing.
Yeah, and it's revealed when? October 3rd?
October 3rd, yes.
You'll figure out why.
You'll see how it all comes together, I promise. Yes. But let's get to it. Let's get to our twin takeaways.
Let's do it. Start us off, Suze. I know you just got back in town.
I am. I'm literally
fired up.
Literally fresh off the plane from Montreal. Oh, it's so pretty there.
Yeah.
I love that city.
Beautiful city.
Had a great time. But this one. So Montreal, the Impact, had been playing pretty darn well as of late. I think they had won 4 games in a row. But you know, when you come up against TFC,
yes. Oh
my goodness, Calen, I don't know if these guys can be stopped.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say they, you know, you look at the play of Nacho Piatti, Blair Jamaili, kind of non-existent in this one. I know Piatti got the goal at the end, but the way that TFC were able to just sort of neutralize that Montreal attack was something else. Josie Altidore, Jovinko, doing the things that they do. This is a team that has so much swagger right now. I spoke to Greg Vanney and I spoke to Drew Moore after the game and kind of talked about the fact that this is a team that's on the verge of history. You know, they could possibly accumulate the most points in MLS history, and it's something that, you know, they were reticent to talk about it, saying, you know,
do they want it though?
We're trying not to focus on it. They want it. So that's my takeaway.
Cool.
Your takeaway.
Mine is from here in New York City. I went out to Red Bull Arena. It was a lovely evening, actually a really tightly contested match. Of course, ends in a draw, but this has to be a better result for NYCFC going on the road. Of course, they concede the penalty kick to Verón, but overall, they had to be feeling good about this one. They've won the series now, 2 wins and a draw. The draw was on the road. Vieira talked about them being a little bit less naive than last season. And at times, they still build out of the back, but at times they can be a little bit more direct, and they're relentless with their guys up top, led, of course, by David Villa. Morales and Ring were excellent in the middle. But I talked to Jesse Marsh after the field, and he was surprisingly positive. I mean, disappointed, but he thought they were the better team on the day. Let's toss to Jesse.
I thought for large stretches of the game we were very good, and a point is disappointing, but we give up the first goal, we battle to get ourselves back in, and ultimately it's a good performance. So as much as the result I don't think is a reflection of the performance, we have to take away the positives and keep moving ourselves forward. It's been good. We've been in a good run.
Good stuff from Jesse.
He's the best.
He's the best. I want to, you know what? I'd like to see these 2 teams face off in the playoffs. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
I think a lot of people would. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm down.
Somebody tweeted at me to say, "Oh, why are you pushing this rivalry down people's throats?" I'm like,
because it's good.
Yeah.
Come on, guys.
Get over it. Yeah.
Get on board.
Yeah.
Well, Calen, there were 4 other rivalry games as part of Heineken Rivalry Week 2. So let's get to it. We're going to start with your former team in Houston. But before we talk soccer, I just want to give some love to the people of Houston. Everybody here at MLS is sending their thoughts and prayers to the folks down there. Just horrendous scenes. It's really heartbreaking. I know you've got a lot of friends down there.
Yeah, a lot of friends in Houston. So just hoping everybody's safe and that help comes on the way in a timely fashion for people who need it. A lot of the scenes I see unrecognizable
it's
places
so
that I used to be at.
So awful.
Yeah, pray.
Stay strong.
Beyond soccer, we're with Houston for sure.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's bring it back to soccer. So Houston goes down to Dallas. They fight back. They get the 3-3 draw. But let's talk about what's going on with Dallas for a second, okay? So they had some trouble scoring goals. They score 3 in that one, but then a 2-1 loss to Columbus. They are winless in their last 6 games, Calen, and they are now sitting in 7th place. They are outside of the playoff line, which is crazy.
When was the last time Dallas wasn't above that line?
Right? What's going on here?
So I mean, I think a couple things. You know, Number one, I think we've seen a couple teams hit this part of the season as a tough spot for teams because of international duty. This team has had absences, and things get disjointed in congested fixtures. But the troubling part to me is you see Dallas concede in the first minute of the game and in the last 5. And in a big match like this, a team with that level of experience, of course, Supporter Shield winners just a year ago, you don't want to see a team, that means to me, you're not ready to come out the game. And that's, Hedges is one of the guys who's supposed to be leading that back line.
Sure.
And then late in game, of course, you know Houston's going to give you a push. Hot day, of course, but I think that's a troubling sign. Those first minutes of the game and the last minute for experienced teams, they should be able to handle those better.
Trouble in the Big D. Trouble in the Big D. All right, let's move it on to Seattle, Portland. This one ends in a 1-1 draw. For me, these are two teams that are kind of battling it out at the top of those Western Conference standings. For me, this was a bigger result for Portland. I think getting that point at CenturyLink, always a tough place for them. This was a nice result for Portland.
Yeah, absolutely. And some huge saves too from Anatel in the back. Just really did a great job. Jordan Morris looked frustrated, had a lot of good opportunities to try and break through, wasn't able to do it. And then
Schmetzer said though at the end of the game that he was happy with the way Morris played. Like, yes, you know,
yeah, he's getting chances.
Exactly, he's getting chances, and that's
But
something that can help him build confidence. But you gotta finish.
You gotta finish.
You gotta finish. You gotta finish.
He didn't do it today, but yeah, Valeri gets another goal. He just quietly just keeps scoring. He's now at the top, of course, all time on the Portland list.
Yeah, he's special.
And I did an interview with him recently.
I saw that.
For the movement in Portland. That's you're gonna have to wait a little bit for that one.
Cannot wait for that episode.
Valeri,
That one,
awesome
that is
dude.
going to be great.
Really nice guy.
All right, so then we had a massive Cali Clasico. This one was out in LA. You know, San Jose needed a result in this one. Guess what? They got it.
Yeah.
Big 3-0 win over the Galaxy. The Galaxy, it just has not gone their way this year. But for San Jose, you know, this is a team that I could see kind of sneaking their way into the postseason. This was good for them.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about whether they're a postseason team or not making that playoffs, but they were ruthless on the day.
Yeah.
And you could just see if they were going to play another 5 minutes, they probably would have tried to score another couple goals. Wando celebrating that third one.
Another goal for Wando.
Yeah, he's just adding to that list, getting closer and closer to that all-time record,
sure
by the way.
is.
But yeah, I mean, that's what it's for. In LA, you know, Chris Klein talked about them needing a restart of sorts, and they've been struggling all year, and that's never been a really difficult, I know I've lost 2 MLS Cups there, but it's never been a difficult environment to play in. It was always their quality that made it very difficult in that field and the way they used it to stretch the field. And now without that, I think teams are now going down there and feeling like this is a place we can get points.
Yeah.
And San Jose, you know, likes getting points anytime they can against LA.
And finally, let's talk about the Rocky Mountain Cup. This one was a crazy one. RSL tacked on 2 late goals. They beat Colorado 4-1. RSL, one of the hotter teams in the leagues right now. So, Calen, what do you think about their playoff chances?
I think they've got a pretty good chance, actually, because they're trending in the right direction. You know, I talked to Craig Weibel, an old friend of mine, now their technical director, of course, and the way he's constructed this roster, I have to give him a lot of credit for, because they went young, and they've given their young guys a little bit of time to develop. Of course, lost some of them earlier for the World Cup, and then now back, you see Brooks Lennon with a goal in this one. Justin Glad has been excellent. Luis Silva with 2 goals in this one as well. So I really like this team. I think they're a team that can compete not only this year, but in the next couple years down the road. They should be in a good position moving forward.
Built for future success.
That's right, yeah.
Future success,
exactly.
if you will. Investing, I like it. All right, so let's look at a couple of the other matches that we had this weekend. Chicago taking on Minnesota. Okay.
How are you feeling about this Chicago team
Before I get really sad, I want to give some love to Abu Danladi, who had 2 goals.
Yes.
And this was also Minnesota's first road win of the season. So bravo, Minnesota.
Yes, Adrian Heath.
It hurts a little bit that it came at the expense
What do you think is going on with
Chicago?
Chicago? Because they've been trending downward since the All-Star break, really.
You know, it's funny. I defensively, they look like they've they're kind of a mess right now. They're giving up early goals, and they're putting themselves in holes early on in games, and then constantly having to fight back. Nemanja Nikolic, who was so hot for so long, has kind of cooled down. He has not found that finishing touch as of late.
Okay.
They've got some work to do.
Yeah, well, Dax cannot let them turn
right
now. Yeah,
no, Dax
a lot of pressure on that midfield.
He will not let them turn.
Yeah.
Okay,
Congrats to Minnesota, though.
Congrats to Minnesota. Okay, so we like to get in the comments these days and,
we do.
and see what you guys want us to talk about. So Chamboni. I
love the names of the comments.
He wants us to talk about Atlanta and their playoff chances. He said nothing about Atlanta United FC having an extremely favorable rest of the season, a ridiculous numbers of games at home in a brand new stadium, and they've only played 22 games as of now, but they are on the border. Well, guess what? They didn't hurt their chances this weekend because they squeaked out a 2-2 draw against Philadelphia. That header from Tyrone Mears, I think like the 94th minute, whatever that was. Yeah. Woo! That was pretty
That's one thing I actually like about this team, though, is that they do well late in games. So they have the ability to really kind of pressure teams, throw numbers forward, and score late. That trends well. I was talking to some people in the office, though, about that congestion of fixtures in September. It's one of the crazier months I've seen because they've backloaded a lot of games to play at Mercedes-Benz Stadium once they open, which I'm going to go to.
Oh, are you now?
I'm really excited, yeah.
You're everywhere.
So I think if they can get a good result in that first game or two at the new stadium, they can ride that wave a little bit and pick up some momentum. But that's a lot of games to be playing in a short amount of time. It's going to tax them. But they're going to need that crowd in Atlanta to really lift them up to get across that line.
All right, well, Bruce Arena picked his 26-man roster for the upcoming World Cup Qualifiers against Costa Rica, and 18 of those guys, MLSers. Let's just point that out right now.
Let's just let them know.
Let's just point that out right now. Not too many surprises for me. What do you think? Anybody that you think should have been included, maybe people that you were a bit surprised that were on the list?
You know what, Suze? I don't want to focus on the negative of who should have. I'm going to talk about who I'm most excited about to see on the roster. And our production assistant extraordinaire, Anders, is going to be very excited, a Seattle native, to see Cristian Roldan on there. He's a guy that I think I've been talking about with the national team future for quite a while now, not to toot my own horn, but I just like his game and his character. And he could have sort of sulked a little bit from getting sent home from the Gold Cup, and his response was quite the opposite. Went back, led the line in a lot of ways, playing out of position, more advanced, scoring goals for Seattle Sounders. And it's cool to see Bruce recognize that and reward him with where he should be, really, a chance to get back in this World Cup qualifying group. I can't say enough about this kid. I really feel like he's got a chance. I know it's early, but I wouldn't rule him out from this World Cup squad. I think he's got a chance, and him back in this World Cup qualifying group is nice to see.
He's a fun player. Can I give some love to one player that I wish would have been included?
Sure.
I wish Bill Hamid would have gotten the call up. I really do. I mean, I love Timmy Howard, Nick Raimondo, Brad Guzan. There's not a lot of bad things you can say about those guys, but I would have liked to have seen Bruce Arena give one of the younger guys a shot. It's about that time.
It's about that time.
It's about that time.
Let's get fired up.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Right off the road.
You see that?
Ooh, that felt good.
Wow.
That woke me up this morning.
Are you getting used to hearing English like that? How do you say "did you see that" in French?
Is it qu'est-ce que c'est? Qu'est-ce que c'est? It's like, what is it? Qu'est-ce que c'est?
That's not with the same intonation as Simon.
Qu'est-ce que c'est?
Okay.
Do you want me to start?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you see that? I'm going to give this one to Breck Shea, who scored an outstanding goal in Vancouver's 2-1 win over Orlando. This, of course, is his former team. He got a really, really lovely reception from the Orlando crowd, and just a really, really nice finish on that chip shot. And he spoke about it after the game, just, how much it meant to him to have the Orlando crowd kind of get behind him in that way. So that was a very cool moment. Also, I have been riding this Vancouver train for the last few weeks. I'm excited about this team.
Really?
I think they're gonna make the postseason, and I think they might surprise some people.
Wow. I'm all out on that. No, I'm just kidding. No. Go ahead, Vancouver. Let's go. All right. And congrats to Breck. Here we go. All right. Did you see that? Is going to be Sebastian Giovinco.
Oh.
I loved his goal celebration. The response, go ahead and cry about it. I love Montreal too. This is the best rivalry to me though in MLS. I know we're talking Heineken Rivalry Week, and I was at the New York game, that was great. But this is the best rivalry to me. last year in the playoffs, carrying forward this year. But Sebastian Giovinco shows that he's fired up.
Oh, they all are.
He speaks emoji fluently.
He does. I love the whole build up to that.
He kind of is an
match.
emoji. He's just like a ridiculously talented emoji.
Can we campaign for a Giovinco emoji?
Yeah.
Somehow?
Well, he's got the little ant. You know, that's what he is. Yeah.
Oh, I love this.
Atomic ant. You got to throw like fireballs after it.
The little flame emoji.
Yeah.
That's it. Guys, that's it. That's all we got.
Yeah. Can we give a shout out to my mom who was here in New York? She came and stopped by the studio this morning.
Claudia got a tour of the studio.
Yeah.
She busted Calen's chops a little bit. Which
She told me that she asked you if you could put some makeup under my eyes.
It was a true story.
We shoot this show early. Come on, Mom.
We could.
Maybe off camera.
Maybe
off camera.
No, it's great to see Claudia. You guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you get in those comments and tell us what you want us to talk about. Also, like, subscribe, do all of that. We've got some killer content on MLSsoccer.com.
Absolutely.
Movement,
BTW.
BTW. Come on, guys. Keep watching. We'll see you next week.